Relationship magician. For some, relationships happen very rapidly and they fizzle. Others, relationships seem to last a much longer time. In fact, for some, a relationship can last even past the death of one in the relationship. Questions, sometimes they feel like maybe that relationship has continued even though that person's gone, which raises the question, is there life after death? Tonight's story is about Four-Eyed Sam, to talk about the possibility that maybe there is life after death. And if there is, can someone who's now no longer with us perhaps reach out and create a relationship that did not exist before? You see, Four-Eyed Sam was a coal miner in Crested Butte, Colorado. We have a visitor here tonight, I understand, from Fort Collins, Colorado, who can verify every aspect of this story, I have no doubt. Back in the mid to late 1800s, so most of life would have been getting up, going to the mine, or late at night actually, you'd go to the mine when the whistle blew, and then you'd work, but in the day, you'd end up going to the tavern. Four-Eyed Sam would go to the tavern and gamble. He got his name not because he wore glasses and spectacles. Instead, it seemed that in gambling, he had eyes in the back of his head. He could see behind him or to the side what someone else may be holding. In truth, it's now known that his girlfriend happened to be a waitress at the bar, and she could signal him with the cards that someone else may be holding. But people really believed, or he would sell the idea that he had some special power, that he could read, and he would make some bets. And one day he did make such a bet for a gold coin. And his bet was that he could cut from his deck of cards to the very card that somebody else had drawn out a card from his deck. A simple bet, taking a lot of skill. And that one colleague did pull out a card. Fortunately, his girlfriend was able to spot exactly what that card was. And he was ready then, Four-Eyed Sam was, to cut the deck. Unfortunately, just as he was about to make that cut, a steam whistle blew. And for those who have been mining, you know that the sound of the steam whistle means it's time to get to the mine. This was on January 23rd, 1884. So he and his gambling buddy dutifully were prepared to report down to the mines. But before they did, they agreed to keep the bet going. And so the person who'd drawn a card sealed his card into an envelope. And Sam took his deck, and they put the envelope, they put the deck into a box that they suspended at the bar, which has been hanging over here to my left since we arrived. Now, I will tell you that I went to summer camp in Crested Butte, Colorado. And when some of my colleagues, some of the other campers were doing some playing around the coal mines, I'll explain why I have this box in a moment. Unfortunately, after they went off to the mine in the wee hours of January 24th, 1884, the Jokerville mine in which they went to mine exploded in the worst recorded mine explosion in the history of the United States. Many, many lives were lost, including, I'm afraid, Four-Eyed Sam. So that box remained suspended at the bar until that day, almost 80 years later, that I convinced the shop teller who had bought the bar from someone who had sold it to a restaurant. It had become a small little curio shop. And I exchanged my services rather than sliding down coal chutes at Jokerville Mine. But legend has it that, and I haven't touched it since I bought it, legend has it that one day Four-Eyed Sam would reach out to somebody with the bet standing of that gold coin and show them where to cut the card that they could then collect and prove that ability. But that's a connection between someone who's not here and someone who is. Now, I was going to simply toss a lump of coal out into the audience to select, but we have a visitor from Colorado. So if you would please stand up, because the similarity to Four-Eyed Sam is unbelievable. It really would burn quickly, so we won't burn it. However, I like you. Would you entertain me enough to allow Four-Eyed Sam's thoughts to enter you for a moment, and imagine that you're going to cut the cards, cut some of the cards off of Sam's deck to where he would have cut the cards. Can you do that in your mind? Having done so, please tell me, how many cards did Sam direct you to cut off? 13 cards. What I'd ask you to please do is take a seat up here. Thank you. Can we confirm to this day that envelope is still there?
Sam's envelope.
Can you please, that's the other person's envelope. Can you hand it to me, please? And one card?
Okay.
Would you please remove all of the cards from the box? Be sure you get all of them out because they tend to stick. Pick them up. I'm going to ask you to, one at a time, deal how many cards?
13.
He had you 13 cut off. Deal one at a time, face up, and count very loud for us as you deal.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do the 13?
13. You cut off 13, which would cut you to which card?
14.
The next card. Set that card aside for a moment and spread out the rest, that we may see that all of those cards are different, unique cards. Yes?
Looks like it.
All different. Can you now show us which card Sam had you cut to? Please? What is it?
King of clubs.
The King of Clubs. Thank you. You may set that back. Please thank the reincarnation of Four-Eyed Sam. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you.